Today is Sunday, November 5th, the 309th day of 2017. Today's highlight in history: on November 5th, 1942, American showman and songwriter George N. Cohan died in New York at age 64. On this date, in 1605, the Gunpowder Plot failed as Guy Fawkes was seized before he could blow up the English Parliament. In 1872, suffragist Susan B. Anthony defied the law by attempting to cast a vote for President Ulysses S. Grant. Anthony was convicted by a judge and fined $100, but she never paid the penalty. In 1912, Democrat Woodrow Wilson was elected president, defeating Progressive Party candidate Theodore Roosevelt, incumbent Republican William Howard Taft, and Socialist Eugene v. Debs. In 1916, a dockside confrontation in Everett, Washington, between members of the Industrial Workers of the World and citizen-deputies erupted into gunfire that left at least 5 Wobblies and 2 deputies dead. In 1935, Parker Brothers began marketing the board game Monopoly. In 1940, President Franklin D. Roosevelt won an unprecedented third term in office as he defeated Republican challenger Wendell L. Willkie. In 1956, Britain and France started landing forces in Egypt during fighting between Egyptian and Israeli forces around the Suez Canal. A ceasefire was declared 2 days later. In 1968, Republican Richard M. Nixon won the presidency, defeating Democratic Vice President Hubert H. Humphrey and American independent candidate George C. Wallace. In 1974, Democrat Ella T. Grasso was elected governor of Connecticut, becoming the first woman to win a gubernatorial office without succeeding her husband. In 1985, Spencer W. Kimball, president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, died at age 90. He was succeeded by Ezra Taft Benson. In 1994, former President Ronald Reagan disclosed he had Alzheimer's disease. In 2009, a shooting rampage at the Fort Hood Army post in Texas left 13 people dead. Major Nidal Hassan, an Army psychiatrist, was later convicted of murder and sentenced to death. 10 years ago, Hollywood writers began a 3-month strike, forcing late-night talk shows to immediately start airing reruns. Police in major Pakistani cities fired tear gas and clubbed lawyers protesting President Jan Pervez Musharraf's emergency rule. Joe Torre was introduced as the new manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers less than 3 weeks after walking away from the New York Yankees. 5 years ago, on the eve of the presidential election, President Barack Obama and Republican challenger Mitt Romney held rallies 7 miles apart in Columbus, Ohio. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled a South Carolina sheriff's office could be held liable for attorney's fees for stopping abortion protesters who wanted to hold up signs showing aborted fetuses. 1 year ago, Republican Donald Trump vowed to press into Democratic strongholds over the campaign's final days as Hillary Clinton looked to an army of A-list celebrities and politicos to defend her narrowing path to the presidency. Arrogate overhauled Pasadena, California Chrome in the final 100 yards in an upset half-length victory in the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic.